morning, everyone. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for today, Friday, August 26, 2016.
Commissioner James Davis and Jacinto are present. President James, we have a quorum. May we start with Bureau introductions, please, starting with Bureau of Contract Administration.
Good morning, Angelica Samayoa with the Bureau of Contract Administration.
Good morning, Ruben Flamenco, Bureau of Street Lighting.
Good morning, Aida Valencia, Bureau of Street Services.
Good morning, Ali Posti, Bureau of Sanitation.
Kendrick Okuda, Bureau of Engineering.
Good morning, Ted Jordan, Public Works General Counsel.
Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. President James, we do not have any speaker cards under general public comment, no commentary for the neighborhood councils, and no speaker cards on any of the items for today's agenda.
Okay, then let's close general public comment and close the neighborhood council item of commentary. Our first item of business, the approval of the meeting minutes from the meeting of Monday, August 8th, 2016. Is there a second to my motion that we approve those meeting minutes? By Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we will approve those meeting minutes. Agenda item number 5, Climatech LLC has transmitted a stop notice in the amount of $82,601.02 for furnishing heating, ventilation, and air conditioning controls to West Tech Mechanical Incorporated, an apparent subcontractor in connection with the LAPD Metropolitan Police Facility Project, the contractor Sanani Development Incorporated. Is there a second to my motion that we receive agenda item number 5 forthwith? By Commissioner Jacinto. Any objection? Without objection, we will do so. Agenda item number 1, requested contract award, Coordinated Integrated Monitoring Programs, recommending that the board authorize the Director of the Bureau of Sanitation or his designee to issue a notice of award to Tetra Tech Incorporated from the consultant list to provide the specialized support for the generation of data required by the Coordinated Integrated Monitoring Programs. The estimated cost of the task order for the Tetra Tech contract is $1,900,000. The contract will be for 3 years with 4 phases of implementation. Jonathan Ball. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, President James, and good morning, Commissioners. So, for the record, my name is Jonathan Ball. I'm an environmental supervisor with the Watershed Protection Program in the Bureau of Sanitation. And like you said, we're requesting authority to issue a notice of award to Tetra Tech for TOS SN61. And that is the specialized support for the generation of data required by the Coordinated Integrated Monitoring Programs, also known as SIMPs. The SIMPs are watershed-based monitoring programs that are mandated by the MS4 NPDES permit. That was made effective in December of 2012, and the city is the lead agency for implementing these SIMPs on behalf of other agencies in the watersheds. So we've initiated monitoring as of November 2015, but what we're asking for is these support services for the generation of the required data at 25 new monitoring stations. And the watersheds that we're talking about is the Upper Los Angeles River, Ballona Creek, Santa Monica Bay, Dominguez Channel, which also includes Machado Lake. So on May 18th, TOS SN61 was issued to 25 firms. On May 23rd, we held a pre-proposal meeting. We got 4 firms attending. And June 6th, we received proposals, and June 24th, we issued a notice of selection to Tetra Tech, and now we are requesting the authority to issue the notice of award to Tetra Tech. The amount is $1.9 million over 3 years, and it includes 4 phases of installation, implementation.
Okay, I appreciated the information in the board report following up with the other 2. There were 2 additional firms that attended the pre-meeting that did not submit proposals, but the reasons for their lack of submission of a proposal was included in the board report, so thank you for that. Any questions on agenda item number 1? Commissioner Davis.
Yes. The percentage that we are letting out on this one is about, what, 59%, you said?
Yeah, it's in the board report. I'm sorry, could you repeat your question?
I was asking for the percentage of work that's being let out on this project.
Subcontractor percentage.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is, sorry, let me get, I think, I'm sorry.
The board report says it's 59%.
Thank you, 59%.
And in terms of the minority women-owned businesses, I guess how is this project funded?
Well, it's, I mean, we are performing work on behalf of other agencies for these that are involved in these watershed monitoring programs, and so they are reimbursing their share of the work, and then some of it's coming internally from our own funds. So that's basically it. It's coming from a mixture of SPA funds and SEM funds.
In terms of our small and emerging business participation, is this an area of specialty that there are less of those small and emerging businesses involved in terms of our ability to increase their participation? Do you?
Yeah, I mean, we actually reached out to Tetra Tech, and they went to the city's website. They requested, they presented the work to all the WBEs on the list, and they were actually able to increase it a little bit, and this is what we came up with. It comes back to the fact that this is really highly technical work, and there's just not a lot of firms out there that are doing this work, and so that's basically it, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Just for the record, the MBE participation that's proposed is 10.7%, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I know that that 18% is pledged, 10.7% is what's on the agreement. Okay. Any other questions on agenda item number one? I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number one. Seconded by Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number one. Any issue sending it forthwith? We'll send number one forthwith. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Agenda item number two, Council Districts 8 and 9, recommending that the board and forward and approve a report with the transmittal to the mayor and the city council to request approval of the South Los Angeles Green Alley Master Plan, and request the mayor and the council to authorize the president or two members of the Board of Public Works to adopt the South Los Angeles Green Alley Master Plan. Seth Carr.
Good morning, President James and Commissioners, Executive Officer, Bureau Reps, and Council. My name is Seth Carr, representing Bureau of Sanitation, Watershed Protection Division. This is for a South LA Green Alley Master Plan, this big report that I have here. It was completed, I believe, in 2013 and was initially presented. This was a grant that we got, and the work was done in conjunction with the Trust for Public Land and Cal Poly Pomona Landscape Architecture Group. So to close out this grant, we were required to have a governing board to approve it. We initially had Commissioner Repenning's Green Street Committee approve it, but they wanted a governing board, so we're here today. I've included some pictures of our green alleys that have just been completed in South LA, Avalon South and North, and that was actually predated this plan. But we want to continue putting these green alleys in those areas with this plan. We can, and we've gotten some informal feedback from our Prop 1 stormwater application that we may be successful in our grant there. So we want to continue this work.
Great. Commissioner Davis?
Yeah, I wanted to say that I had the privilege of attending the opening of one of the completed projects in this corridor, along with Commissioner Repenning and President James, and I thought it was an outstanding project, and I think it truly enhances the area. It's a very innovative procedure that sanitation is engaged in a collaborative effort with our nonprofits who care very much about the environment, and I'm very glad to see that you have included this project as a part of that which you'd like to continue. I think overall it's an outstanding project. Thank you.
Yeah, no questions from me. I was there that day. I appreciated seeing it. We'd like to see more of it. Is that a motion, Commissioner Davis? I'll second it. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 2. Any issues sending number 2 forthwith? We'll send number 2 forthwith. Thank you, sir. Agenda item number 3, requested tree removal, Council District 11. Before we get to number 3, let's go ahead and take care of number 4. Authority for Expenditure, Gamil Electric Incorporated, Office of Accounting and Bureau of Sanitation, requesting board approval and execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of $44,880, I should say, for installation of a new emergency generator at the Central Los Angeles Recycling and Transfer Station. That's the Clark's facility. Mr. Sayan?
Good morning, commissioners, bureau reps, city attorney, and executive officer. I'm here requesting board approval and execution for the authority of expenditure for the installation of the emergency generator at Clark's. Clark's needs an emergency generator because it provides essential services, and it will and which handles more than 60% of the curbside solid waste, and 20% of the green waste is transferred through the facility. And also for health and safety reasons and regulatory, we will not have problems if we have the generator, which we didn't have it since until now.
So I'm sorry, Mr. Stein, you may have mentioned it. Did we have a generator before?
No, we didn't have one.
Had one.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's about time, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Jacinto?
Thank you, President James. So this is just for the installation, the labor related to installing the permanent emergency generator.
Yes, the generator was acquired separately, so this is only for the installation, electrical installation of the generator and the automatic transfer switch, which will automatically transfer to the diesel power generator.
What's the cost of the generator?
Excuse me?
What's the cost of the generator?
70,000?
70,000?
Yes, around that. I mean, I forgot the exact number.
Roughly 70,000
Yes.
plus the 44 that we're looking at now, so it's about a $100,000 venture, a little bit north?
Yes.
About a $120,000 venture?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, Commissioner Cinto. Commissioner Cinto's made a motion that we adopt. By the way, once the work is done, when will the generator be operational?
Well, immediately. I mean, it's only a couple of days' job to do the installation. And the generator is in the warehouse waiting for delivery as soon as this was approved.
Okay. Anything further? Commissioner Cinto's made a motion that we adopt agenda item number 4, seconded by Commissioner Davis. Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 4. Any issue sending number 4 forthwith? We'll send number 4 forthwith. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 3. We're back. Yes. Tree removal, Council District 11, 1227 East Preston Way. First of all, I've read this into the record so many times I could almost memorize it. Number 1, find that the tree removal classifies as operation, repair, maintenance, or minor alteration of existing street, sidewalk, and gutter involving negligible or no expansion of use beyond that previously existing and does not involve the removal of a scenic resource. Number 2, find that the action is exempt under Article 3, Section 1, Class 1, Category 3, existing facilities sidewalk repair or maintenance of the City of Los Angeles Environmental Quality Act guidelines from 2002. Number 3, find that none of the exceptions to the use of a categorical exemption as set forth in Section 15300.2 of the California Environmental Quality Act CEQA guidelines apply. And number 4, approve the request for a fee permit to remove 2 Mexican fan palm trees and 2 rubber trees for driveway installation and the reconstruction of an off-grade public sidewalk, curb, and gutter located at 1227 East Preston Way. Tree replacements are required. The original board report was July 11th, 2016. This was continued from August 15th, 2016. Mr. Tyson. We don't have any speaker cards on this, Mr. Tyson, so did the community and folks know this was coming this morning?
According to Mr. Fernando Campos, they were contacted.
That is correct, Mr. President. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. All folks from the community were contacted. Overwhelmingly, all of them asked for an extension of this item. However, the item was scheduled based on Mr. Romano, the applicant, in this case, to be here before you today to testify.
Is he here?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Tyson.
He was running a little late, but he's here now, and thank goodness.
Well, I'm glad I held it over. Go ahead, sir.
The situation remains the same. In order to save the 2 palm trees, the sidewalk needs to be moved 12 inches towards the private property side, and the driveway apron needs to be made down to 15 to 16 feet. At the end, it'll be 16 feet, but 15 feet wide. The amount of soil disturbance around the palm trees is too great to put the sidewalk back into where it was located previously. And according to Mr. Romano, he does want to do the curb and gutter in the front of the trees. And that's why I stated in my report we needed 12 inches of room in the back. And he is here to talk about how he wants to proceed with this. And without any further ado, if the board's okay with Mr. Romano to come up and speak.
Yes, please. Although, Mr. Romano, we would like for you to put it in a speaker card so we have a record of it. But come on up and we'll hear from you, and then you can fill out the speaker card before you leave. Thank you, Mr. Tyson.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Just identify yourself for the
My
record.
name is Mario Romano, and I'm the authorized agent and owner at 1227 Preston Way.
And you're the applicant of the permit, correct?
Correct.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Do you want to ask a question, or should I
Well,
tell you what I'd like to do? Or
that's not typically the way we do it. Sometimes I have questions, but I can the issue that has come up, and Mr. Tyson or Mr. Campos and Mr. Jordan, you can let me know if I. It's been a couple of weeks, and a lot has gone through my head in the last 2 weeks on a lot of items. So I'll summarize it as best I can, and we'll see how we go from there. We've had several discussions with community members regarding an attempt to save 2 palm trees. Am I correct so far,
yes,
Mr.
absolutely.
Tyson?
Yes.
Okay. And we initially thought that it was maybe possible that we reduce the width of the sidewalk to not interrupt the root structure of the palm tree such that it would be damaged and perhaps not safe. So we inquired with the city attorney's office regarding ADA compliance under the federal Willits settlement that affects all of our sidewalk repairs in the city of Los Angeles. Could we reduce the width of the sidewalk below the 4 feet? The answer from the city attorney's office was no.
Right.
So because we can't alter the width of the sidewalk, proposals were put on the table that would allow the same 4-foot width of the sidewalk while maintaining the integrity of the root system of the subject trees. And that basically would require a sort of meandering of the sidewalk pathway that would encroach on, as I understand it, your property. You're the owner of the property.
Yes, correct.
Which would require from you to us an easement to allow the encroachment.
Yes.
And the community had indicated that that was okay with you, but you weren't here to say that was okay with you. So we didn't want to move forward until we heard from you yourself.
Well, I want to, yes, it's okay.
Go ahead, sir.
And yes, it's okay. And I'm willing to, make grant that easement and meander into my private property to go ahead and allow both the 48 inches for the sidewalk, while at the same time the 12 inches distance between the palm trees and the sidewalk. And I'm willing and able to do that, and looking forward to wrapping this matter up. Everybody wins, and I love the palm trees. I'm excited to keep them, and looking forward to removing those two ficus trees, I guess.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, Mr. Tyson, now that we've heard from the property owner on saving the two palm trees, what trees are coming out?
There's two rubber elastica trees that will need to be removed, and this will keep, actually there's a set of 5 palm trees, and they'll all still be there, which will be nice for everyone. Also the reduction of the driveway so that we can work around the one that's next to the driveway.
Okay, so there is a reduction of the width of the driveway that the owner's agreeing to?
Yes, I'm going to reduce the driveway too, please.
Okay. So what we're doing now, today then, and I know that apparently the community wanted this continued, but this is going to be resolved. This is what they wanted.
Yes.
That is correct, Mr. President. Overwhelmingly, the constituents that were here before you on several occasions were, their goal was to save the Mexican palm trees,
Yes.
the 2 Mexican palm trees. So.
And we've just done that. So we're going to grant a permit for the removal of the 2 rubber trees.
I will issue the permit for the 2 rubber trees per your granting it, and I'm willing to go out to the location and observe the forms that are put in for the meandering and everything prior to the cement being poured, and work with Mr. Romano.
Okay, and then Mr. Jordan looks like he's about to step in on, I'm going to guess he's going to chime in on the easement issue, and I see that we have Mr. Jimenez here so that we can deal with whatever needs to happen along those lines. Mr. Jordan?
Yeah, so you can, based on what's before you now, immediately approve the permit to remove the 2 rubber trees. I would recommend that the report be amended accordingly.
Sure, of course.
In both as to what's being removed and what the required replacements are. I would defer to Mr. Tyson. This report was written anticipating that 2 rubber trees would be removed, and the report called out 1 replacement tree to be planted and the others to be delivered. So I'll let them sort out what's planted and what's delivered. The property owners also indicated that they're willing to dedicate an additional, I believe it was 12 inches across the entire frontage of the property to allow the sidewalk to meander around the trees. So the board should authorize the Bureau of Engineering to proceed with that dedication and to accept that dedication. There may be some cleanup stuff that comes back to the board, but in order to facilitate what I believe to be a very good outcome for all of the parties, including the property owner and the city, that we proceed with as much as we possibly can right now so they can go ahead and get started.
Great.
Any cleanup authorizations that may come to the board later, and we'll sort that out. But you should go ahead and you can authorize the Bureau to accept the dedication, but there'll be some paperwork that they have to complete on that.
Are there replacement requirements, Mr. Tyson, as a result of the 2 rubber tree removals?
Yes, sir, there would be 4 replacements, and I'll have to look at what we had in the board report. I don't have it right here in front of me, but I'll work with Mr. Romano on that.
That's fine. I don't remember that being a big issue at the time. The board report I thought was okay on that. So let me see if I can, with Mr. Jordan and Mr. Campos's help. Mr. Romano, by the way, thank you very much. The process, it was a lot of collaboration. It's more than we typically end up with, but that's the way it works sometimes. And as you heard Mr. Jordan say, I think it's a good result around for, really kind of around the table. Everyone ended up being satisfied with this, and that doesn't always happen.
I agree, and I'm glad to, contribute to the betterment of all the groups here. And I'm actually happy with the outcome, and I appreciate whatever fast tracks could be facilitated to process a lot of the paperwork.
I understood that, and that wouldn't have happened without your cooperation. And in turn, we'll do what we can internally to move it along for you. The first of which is not continue the item, but go ahead and grant the tree removals today for the 2 rubber trees. Mr. Tyson, you'll deal with the property owner, the applicant, on the replacement regarding the rubber trees. We can approve, Ted, can we approve the acceptance of the easement today?
Well, it's really not on this
It's not on the agenda,
so I think right now you can instruct the Bureau of Engineering to proceed with that, and then they'll bring it back to you in a more formalized way.
And it won't require a bunch of people coming, and we have to deal with all that. So.
We're all very comfortable allowing the property owner to proceed with the work, understanding that this is a somewhat unusual situation. In the future, as we hopefully will be able to do these things, and we'll be able to sort of package it all together in one single board action. So, but we're comfortable having this, having that last piece come back for a separate action.
Okay, you won't have to come, Mr. Romano. It's like we've heard you on this. Mr. Campos, go ahead, sir.
Just one question for our Chief Forester, Mr. Tyson. According to the report, 1 tree was to be replanted on site, and then 7 trees were to be delivered to the nursery. Now that the Mexican palms will not be removed and just the 2 rubber trees, is there a possibility to have those trees planted on site, or would it be just only 1 on site and then 1 to the nursery?
I have to actually look at it all again and see if, in fact...
the math is going to be reworked because we're not taking out the Mexican palms.
It won't be the totality, but I have to look myself to see...
it's going to be 2 trees coming out and 4 trees coming in, right?
Right. Remember when the tree was to be planted there, we were looking at 4 trees coming out, which is not happening now, so I don't believe there will be room to replant any trees at the subject property.
Right. At all. Yeah. So we will... my motion will be to approve the tree removal as amended for the 2 rubber trees. The replacement will be in a 2-to-1 per the removal of the 2 rubber trees, with the replacement location to be worked out between the Bureau of Street Services and the applicant. And the easement, Mr. Jordan, help me out with my language here, will be the Bureau to accept the easement or to permit to authorize the Bureau of Engineering's Real Estate Division to proceed with the easement with the applicant and property owner. And if they need to come back to us for final approval, just to let us know, we'll agendize it and get it taken care of. Okay with you?
Yes, that should be fine. And then, of course, the other aspects of the report dealing with CEQA, the board would simply be approving those
Sure.
recommendations.
Well, that's already part of the report, right? That'll be part of my overall amended motion. Okay, so that will be the amended motion, seconded by Commissioners Jacinto and Davis. Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you, President. I just wanted to say, well, that worked out pretty well. It took a while, but it was really the participation, the collaboration of stakeholders, of our city staff, of the owner, and Mr. Romano. I think you paid it forward in wanting to work with your local community. So I want to thank you as well for just, dedicating that 12 inches along your property. It's going to go a long way. It's going to keep the character of your neighborhood, and I would encourage you to continue working with your neighbors and finding out where we could plant those other 3 or 4 to make it even better. So thank you very, very much.
Much appreciated. As I learned more about, interestingly, when you look at the original design where the driveway and the walkway is, the palm trees were not in the way. Somehow, so really the 2 trees that need to be removed was connected to the original design intent. And I learned a lot about those palm trees, and they have a rich history, and I'm excited to be a part of the preservation of those. So.
Excellent, thank you. So that'll be the order. It was not objected to, so unanimous, and we'll send it forthwith. And we had the benefit of Mr. Jimenez from our real estate division here, so he's already on top of the easement issues. So thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
And Mr. Tyson was incredibly helpful in reaching out and really proactive, and I appreciate his help too.
Great, thank you. And Mr. Campos will let the happy neighbors know. Even though the item was not continued, it worked out to their benefit. Thank you, Mr. Tyson. And we're done with agenda item number 3. Mr. Campos, have we cleared the desk?
Yes, you have.
Okay, then we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Sure, thank you, Ray.
Thank you.